Hey guys, so Purple UI Goku is getting his Zenkai Awakening today, and we do have the information on what part of his kit are going to be updated here. So the game is in just server maintenance. I know there's been a lot of server issues recently with like just the game taking forever to load, connecting problems. So I think that's the reason why they put the game into just complete game-wide server maintenance. So that's why we cannot access the kit in game here. So we're going to be doing a look at the kit here outside of the game, which is not something I typically like to do because I like to see everything on the screen. I like to show the stats. We're not going to be able to see the stats of UI Goku here, but I would probably wager you're looking at high 280s to low 290s for stats. That's typically what we see for LF Zenkais this day and age. So I would probably more so wager on the side of low 290s just because this guy already had a lot of strike attack. Like, I'm pretty sure he was like in the low 270s for strike attack, which is insane for this when this character released. That's crazy high. So I think this guy will probably end up being, honestly, even low to mid 290s. I think I actually would be a little bit surprised if he didn't crack 290 at least strike attack. And then defenses will be another story entirely. This guy doesn't have the greatest defenses, so I'm a little bit skeptical in terms of how high those will be, but as long as they're like 180 to both, I'm okay with that. Okay, so first of all, shout out to Graz Dog for providing the data mines here. So this, obviously we have 3 images here, each of which compose a portion of his post Zenkai kit. I also do have pulled up the existing pre-Zenkai kit so that we can compare what changed with the post Zenkai stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here. So we're just going to start off with the main ability right away. So draws the Ultimate Arts card, Autonomous Assault. Health by 30%, ki by 50. So he gets 10 extra ki on main ability now. Restores, oh yeah, okay, this is new. Restores own unique gauge by 50%. That is definitely very nice. Then cancels enemy attribute upgrades. Would have also liked if this canceled buff effects as well. I'm not really sure why they didn't just add that. I wouldn't really break the game or anything like that. But getting 50% to his unique gauge on main ability is really, really good. That is strong. If you guys at all have used Revival UI Goku, you know how strong just getting basically half of your full gauge right on main ability instantly. That does actually make a big difference. Okay, so the first unique ability, 25% to damage inflicted against tag fusion warriors. That was already there. Applies the following effects self when battle starts: 80% damage inflicted, and then 40% reduced damage received. So they bumped that up from 20%. So they bumped this up from 6. So this goes from 60 to 80. This goes from 20 to 40. That's really good. This guy only having 20% reduced damage received needed to change. So that's really good that changed. 50% to ki recovery, and then -5 to strike and blast arts cost. That is the same. That did not change. Applies the following effects to self according to the number of timer counts elapsed with current character. So 3 and 6. I'm pretty sure it used to be 3 and 8. Yeah, they bumped this down to 6 instead of 8, which is nice. So he gets 30 ki, 30 ki, 20, 30. It's the same. So the only thing that changed with this is they moved this from 8 to 6, which is nice because you get the damage buffs earlier on. That's good. Okay. Second unique ability is reduces damage received from tag fusion warriors by 15%. That's new. I don't think he had. Yeah, he didn't have that. So even more additional stuff versus fusion warriors. So I guess what? He's getting 40% baseline, then 15% against fusion warriors specifically. That's interesting. Right now there really aren't. Let me just see something here. If I click this there, because there's really no like good green fusion warriors, right? I mean, this guy will get a Zenkai at some point, right? Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I don't think there's really any notable green fusion warrior characters right now, because usually what you see is you just see Rose on fusion warriors in the leader slot. But like if we're fighting if we get a green fusion warrior character, like this guy actually I think will be able to tank versus them even without his dodging mechanic because of this extra reduced damage received and the fact that he's a Zenkai character with decent defenses hopefully, and he has type advantage. So all right, then he of course has the cover changes. Universal cover change against striker or blast activates twice. Let's see, then he has the gauge of course. Yep. That's the same. They're not going to change the way the unique gauge works. It's just set in stone there. Okay, so this is new. These are the two new unique abilities. So the first one's going to be Unfamiliar Sensation. The following effects occur when enemy switches characters while this character is on the battlefield. Restores ki by 30. 20% damage inflicted. Nullifies unfavorable element factor. Oh, for damage sustained. Damn, that would have been sick if that was just for offense as well. Shortens ally sub count by 1. And then inflicts enemy that should be downgrade -1 to arts card draw speed level. So the reason, but hold on, this is when the enemy switches characters while this character is on the battlefield. So they're building this and designing this in a way where like this guy is getting comboed. So clearly the first two are more so geared towards like you're comboing the opponent and then them switching gives you an offensive boost here. And then the defensive type neutral, the shortens ally sub count, and then the -1 card draw speed is more of a defensive portion of this, right? So there's offensive and defensive parts of this, but they both are dependent upon your enemy switching characters. I think this is way more of an offensive like thing that you're gonna like. The enemy switching characters when this character's on the battlefield is gonna be more so something that you see when this character is comboing as opposed to when this character is getting comboed. Even though he's getting the 40% damage buff or damage reduction buff up from 20%, this character was never designed to like just sit there and take hits like this, so I don't really know how well this is going to work defensively. Sure, going type neutral is fine, reducing their card draw speed is fine, but we're at a point in this game where like I don't think this character is just going to be able to sit there and just tank hits from the enemy. I more so see this like the enemy switches in while comboing this guy, you apply the -1 card draw speed, and then you just immediately switch, is what I see this as. So it's interesting. I don't really know if this is going to be like a crazy good one. I would have preferred, here's what I would have preferred. I would have preferred if they scrapped these bottom 3 lines here and then gave him some additional offensive stuff on top of the ki and damage. So if the enemy switches characters with characters on the battlefield, I don't know, maybe he like draws an extra strike card, or maybe he increases ally sub count by 2, or he, I don't know, gets cost reduction or something. Like I think going down the more offensive path for this character would have benefited him a lot more, just because this character's never going to be the kind of unit that just sits there and takes combos like this. So I'm not really sure how I like the design of this. All right, final unique ability is Unstoppable Growth. Applies the following effects to all enemies when this character enters the battlefield. 20% damage received, -20% to health restoration, then -20% to ki recovery for 10 counts. So that's every time he switches in, right? Because it doesn't say once only. So that's interesting. I mean, the good thing about this is it's all enemies. So, you know, even enemies on standby who are probably going to end up switching in are going to be affected by all this stuff as well. Damage received obviously is the best part about this, I think. But yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. Also applies the following effects to self. If own remaining health is 50% or below, activates once. Draws a special arts card next. Okay, so he has a guaranteed green card draw, which of course we know is an AoE. So that's interesting. Restores health by 20% and ki by 30. 20% damage inflicted, that's a permanent, cannot be canceled buff. Okay. Health is 50% or below. I don't think that's going to be like super tough to get. It's a little bit conditional. Honestly, I would have just preferred if this was like 20 counts or more of a lapse in battle or something, or like even 30 counts. Like once you go past 30 counts, it starts to become a little bit like frustrating, I think. Like Evolution Blue Vegeta is 50 counts to get card draw speed. Like that is egregious. This would have been better as a timed thing, because again, this is not a character that's just like you're eating combos with him. I don't think this is something that you're going to try and like aim for. Like you're not going to try and like sit in with this character to get him below 50% HP and then like, okay, yeah, we have it set up now we can, you know, get this activated. I think this is just something that's going to happen per chance. Like this guy just so happens to like eat a blue card or something, and all of a sudden you're at like, I don't know, 20% HP. and then next time he switches in, he'll be able to grab these buffs here. I don't know. I would have preferred if this was just time gated off of timer counts instead of it being locked behind an HP restriction on a character that's not designed to take any kind of damage whatsoever. All right. I mean, this is not bad. We know how good guaranteed drawing a green card is when you have an AoE green card. And also, we know his green card now gives cover null based off of the tweet yesterday. All right, the blue card. Let's see if they changed here. So the blue card on the pre-ZENKAI one. Again, I don't really think they need to adjust much here. This is already a pretty good blue card. 50% unique gauge, 25% damage, massive. Just give it blast armor. I think it's good enough. So we'll see. Accelerating instinct, massive. Okay, they didn't change anything. Oh no, they did. They gave blast armor. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's literally all it needed is blast armor. Perfect. That is fine. I think this blue card is already really good. The interesting thing about this, actually, let me just see something here. The interesting thing to note about this blue card is this has 25% of special move damage for 10 counts. So technically, you can overlap this and stack it on top of multiple other blue card effects. So if you're running a team with this character, you know, where you have access to multiple blue cards, like let's say you're running this character with, I don't know, someone who holds a blue card like First Form Frieza, or, you know, another character that uses a main ability, draws a blue card, and then you switch into this character. Like using multiple blue cards in succession, it's going to be tough because it's a melee based blue card. But I mean, this lasting for 10 counts means you technically can stack this 25% special move damage buff, you know, if you use both of them within the 10-second window here. So that is something to keep in mind, I guess. But the main like positive thing about this blue card, I think, is the gauge restoration. 50% is a lot. That really is. Okay. So yeah, blast armor is all he really needed on that, so that's fine. All right, so the green card, we already know that they're giving him cover nullification. I believe they said it's only for 5 counts. And it's on hit instead of activation. So let's see. Applies the following effects itself on hit. Restores health by 10% and ki by 50. That's the same. It gets 10 more ki. So he used to get 40. Now he gets 50. That's good. 20% damage inflicted for 15 counts. Yep. Card draw speed by 1 level for 15 counts. Is that the same? Yeah, it is the same. Okay. And then he gets cover nullification for 5 counts. Yeah, so here's like the comparison that people are making, because it's like I've seen a lot of people, kind of like a mixture of people that are both excited and a little bit like worried or scared about this. The first thing is people are comparing this to Kid Buu, and I think this is, although it's kind of reminiscent of Ultra Kid Buu's green card, it is not nearly as bad. The main reason why it's not nearly as bad, and let me actually pull up Kid Buu so we can directly compare, and I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Kid Buu. So here are the two main differences between the Kid Buu green card and this Goku's green card. The first thing to note about this Kid Buu's green card is this is upon activation. Goku's green card has to hit on hit to get the cover null. I don't think that's like a massive difference. Like, it's not like, oh my god, that's why Kid Buu is so broken or anything like that. But there's obviously a decent wind-up time to cast the green card. So you press the green card, Goku, like, you know, prepares to shout or whatever, and then you see that happening, and you know, you can go into characters like Super Saiyan 4 Goku. The old Super Saiyan 4 Goku has a cover rescue, so you don't have to get affected by this. Like, there are ways to avoid this. And the second thing, the reason why this is so much worse, the Kid Buu one, is because this is 10 counts on a character that very, very frequently has double card draw speed. This is not, this green card, this UI Goku green card, is not going to be anywhere close to as toxic as this. This is just, this is like, again, this Kid Buu green card and Rose blue card are like the twin towers of just toxicity in this game. There's literally nothing touching these two cards. This Kid Buu's green card and Rose's blue card. It's like, no. This is not coming close to that. This is a very powerful effect. Covering over 5 counts upon landing this AoE green card, because he's getting card draw speed, he's getting damage. Like, yeah, this is a, I mean, this is going to be an annoying effect. Let's just be honest. Like, this is not going to be a fun mechanic to play around. I think every single green card that's an AoE is not a quote-unquote fun effect to have to play around, but I don't think it's fair to even compare this to the Kid Buu green card, because the Kid Buu green card is just 10 times worse than this. All right, let's move on here. So yeah, then you can combo the green card with all these other effects here. Looks like his Zenkai ability is Purple Universe Reps, which is definitely interesting. Okay, by the way, I also made a mistake in my video yesterday when I was talking about this guy and what potential Zenkai abilities he could buff. I think I said like any combination that he buffs would end up buffing Goku and Frieza, which is obviously not correct because Goku and Frieza are not on God Ki, right? So if this guy were to buff Purple God Ki, Goku and Frieza would not get the effects of that. So that was just a mistake that I made. At this point, I just assume that Goku and Frieza are on every single tag because they basically are. But this Kid Buu, or not Kid Buu, this UI Goku buffing Purple Universe Reps. So the problem with this is I think it would have been a lot, better technically if instead of buffing Universe Reps, he was buffing Purple Saiyans, just because it encompasses a lot more units. So we go to characters and then we go to Purple. Like what Universe Rep Purple character are you running besides Goku and Frieza? I mean, I guess if like LF Jiren gets a Zenkai Awakening, sure. Like at that point we can talk about that, but I don't know if this is really coming out anytime soon. This Goku is like 14 months older than this full power Jiren or something like that. So I think we're still a decent amount of time away from seeing the Zenkai for this character. But Goku and Frieza, we have this full power Jiren. Purple hit, like there's not really much else here. So clearly this Zenkai was specifically designed to give Goku and Frieza the Zenkai buff here, which is fine. I don't really have an issue with this. One other small thing we could sort of mention about this as well is this sort of goes back to this character being sort of strangely designated as a ranged character, even though he clearly is not supposed to be a ranged character. Like I don't know why he's... If you go in game and look at this character, he actually is classified as a range type character, which is very weird because he has a higher strike attack and all of his teams are basically strike based. So I'm not really sure why they classify him as a range character. Like his blue card is a melee card. Obviously his ultimate is a melee based card. So it's weird. But then his Z ability is blast based, right? We have 35% to Universe Survival Saga, God Ki Saiyan, blast attack and defense. And now with his Zenkai ability, it's not a huge deal, but he is giving higher blast attack than strike attack for Goku and Frieza, who are obviously strike based. So I don't know why they ended up, initially designing this character like that, where it's like he is a clearly more of a melee character, but he's a range type character that, I don't know. It's weird that Z ability is blast based. Like it's very strange because look at this. Like he's buffing blast attack and defense for these tags when obviously you'd rather just be strike based. That's like the one critique I have of this, like the initial design of this character, but obviously going to be a really, really good option for Goku and Frieza, especially because, by the way, Goku and Frieza are confirmed to be getting their buff today. So their buff will be live in game today. I will be doing a new video on them and we will see how that plays out. I think it should be good enough. I don't really think there's going to be a world where it's like, oh, they're still not, up to par or whatever. I've had people ask me this over the past few days, like, do I think Goku and Frieza post buff are going to be on the same levels like Kid Buu and Rose? And I'll just tell you guys straight up, I don't think so. I even with how absurd their buff is, I don't think them as individual characters are going to be able to hold up to like that level of Ultra. Hit, Kid Buu, Rose, the big three right now. And then Ultra Gogeta Blue is sort of like a little bit behind them, but I think he's still in the mix, of course. The thing with Goku and Frieza's buff, and this is the last thing I'll say about this before we close out here. I'll just like wrap up the Goku Zenkai as well, but the thing with Goku and Frieza's buff is the main thing they're trying to do with the buff is to really increase the anti-rising rush value that they bring to the table. And on top of the fact that they already have like 500 million tags, like they're a really good flexible character that you can leader slot on a lot of teams. I think that actually does make for a really good part 1 anniversary character because a lot of new players are coming into the game. We have a lot of returning players that haven't played in a while. They're trying to build up their accounts again. So a character that is able to, defend against Rising Rush in an effective way like that, it really does matter a lot, I think. But individually, when it comes to like their power and defensive presence, in a match. I don't know if they're going to be able to stand up to the ultras, but in terms of value with the anti-rising rush mechanic they have and how easy it's going to be now to actually get that activated, I think they are looking pretty good. But we'll see. Again, no one's used them with the buff active, so we will see. We will see. But in terms of this Goku, before we wrap up here, I think he looks pretty good. I mean, again, this is a character you have to remember. He has the dodging. Like, he has all this other stuff going for him, but on top of everything, he is a Ultra Instinct character, right? So we already know how good that dodge mechanic is. I think if I had to point out a few areas of criticism, so the two big things for this character, with him being mostly an offensive unit, is you're looking for card draw speed and you're looking for cover nullification. Both effects are locked behind landing this green card, which is not bad because it's an AoE green card, so it's not that difficult to land this. But I think I would have liked for him to have at least, maybe not cover null, because cover null is super powerful, and him having access to cover null on the green card is actually really, really good. But I would have at least liked to have seen card draw speed that's not specifically tied to only his green card. Like, maybe, again, this is the suggestion I made in my video yesterday, they lock it behind this. Like, have this be 6, so before it was 8 counts, now it's 6 counts. After 6 counts elapse while this character's in the battlefield, he gains 10 counts of card draw speed. Like, would that be too good? I don't think so. I think that would have been fine. But let me know what you guys think about this Ultra Instinct Goku. I'm definitely looking forward to testing him out. The only thing we haven't checked are his stats. I think they should be pretty good. He already had a really high strike attack stat, so I'll be curious to see how they handle this. Should make for a pretty good inclusion on the Universe Reps team. Let me know down below what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.